Eddie. I'm here with Complexity Simplified, Summit's new podcast and video series as we break down data science and how it affects our daily lives. My name is Jennifer Folsom. I'm the Chief of Corporate Development here at Summit Consulting, here with Dr. Eddie Seiler, our Chief Housing Economist. Welcome.
Thank you, Jen.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about housing counseling. Can you tell me what housing counseling is?
Sure. When a borrower goes to get a loan, or perhaps when they hit hardship on the loan, there is involved a change in the payment, perhaps. For instance, if the hardship is due to an adjustable rate mortgage payment going up, then the borrower needs to adjust to the new reality and may need to react and change their budget. So housing counseling is really a form of general credit counseling. In other words, the counselor sits down with the borrower or co-borrowers and looks over their budgets and suggests possible ways to make better budget decisions.
So it's credit counseling, but just as it applies to buying a home.
It can be general, in fact, because when I started in housing, we used to think of credit cards as a house of cards. In other words, people wouldn't default on their mortgage because they would default on their credit cards first, because there's nothing to lose if there's no collateral.
You don't live in a credit card.
However, during the housing crisis, we did see things changing around. A lot of people thought, well, I may lose my job. I need to be able to have a lot of credit utilization. I need to be able to have a lot of credit cards open in order to be able to have a lot of debt that I can amass. So things started to change, and borrowers have got out of sync, and it's important that borrowers understand how to prioritize their spending, how to prioritize their use of credit, and to understand the difference between good debt, for instance mortgage debt, and bad debt, high interest credit card debt.
So it's before you get the mortgage or after when there's a problem?
So there's many different types of credit counseling for housing. So what we call pre-purchase is before somebody goes to get a mortgage, they'll be given counseling. They'll understand better how much they can afford, how much house they can buy, how they can start to budget in order to make sure they can make the payments. I saw something very interesting over the weekend. There was an article, an Australian started to accuse millennials of going out to eat too much. He said, stop having too many avocado sandwiches. And, I go, what's an avocado sandwich? But it's a popular brunch menu in Australia, and it's very expensive. And the idea is you have to be responsible with your spending. A house is a big responsibility. And it's not only buying the house and paying the mortgage, it's also upkeeping the house.
Sure. And
people have to think and adjust their budgets in order to be able to enter into the house.
Well, it seems like a good idea. Why doesn't every lender require it?
It's just another step, and it's expensive. So, counseling can be done with light touch, perhaps a phone call or two, or with high touch, meaning that people will go in and borrowers will go in and they'll sit down with counselors, and they may have a few hours, and they may go through having to build up budget sheets. But it's another step that has to be taken, and often in the high-paced world of wanting to close on the mortgage today, this step is often skipped over.
Are there any new trends, emerging trends in housing counseling?
Yes, I think there's a few coming up. So we've been in a very low interest rate environment for many years. Whenever you look at the news, they always talk about low interest rates and how possibly the Janet Yellen and the Fed will be raising interest rates twice more this year.
We've heard that for years.
Right. Actually, we've been hearing it year after year, but there's a lot of indicators that the economy may actually be recovering now, which would mean that interest rates would go up. A lot of people took out what we call HELOC, home equity lines of credit, second liens on their homes, in order to be able to afford certain financial budgets, to increase their financial budgets.
College, cars, these kinds of things.
Right. And a lot of these HELOCs are adjustable rates. And in the next few years, 3 million of them are due to reset, which would mean the payments would go up for these borrowers. So that's one of the issues that's very high on people's minds at the moment.
So we may need more counseling specific to that issue, right? So around the HELOC, adjustable rate mortgage rate rising.
Right. In order for people to really start to understand, how they may have to adjust their budgets in order to cope with these rates, rate increases.
Got it. And so, how has the housing counseling industry changed? Like, what did it used to be, and sort of what is it now?
So the housing counseling industry is a lot more organized than it used to be. A few years ago, it was some advocacy groups pushing to do counseling, often battling with services who didn't want the counseling to happen because that would take them out of the regular flow, and it would mean separating out loans and its additional costs for the services.
Which could make the cost of mortgages go up for everyone.
Right. A lot of research has been done, and we're starting to see that housing counseling does have benefits.
Okay.
Which means that services who are working on very tight margins may see the benefit of it, that it could actually help them. So they are more willing to go to housing counseling. Also, the changes recently have been from when we had the Great Recession, was a lot of pre-foreclosure counseling or post-foreclosure counseling. When somebody lost their home, obviously it's a tremendous upheaval and difficult time in a family's life when they lose their home. But it's also, where do you go and live afterwards? Do you go live with your in-laws? Are you able to rent? Your credit is bad. It's not always easy to go and rent somewhere as well. And then, of course, how do you repay your credit? Now we're talking about different aspects. We're talking about pre-purchase, before people get in the home, so they can be responsible homeowners. The HELOC we've just talked about. And also, I think something that's happening big time as well is the aging of our population. So as the baby boomers are retiring, and retiring en masse, they're also getting older, and we've got to be able to think of how people can age in place. And one of the ways people can age...
Versus sort of assisted living facilities, right?
Exactly.
Very expensive.
Exactly. So if we're able to help people stay in the home, and the counseling may include, budgets when people are retired. What can you afford? How much vacation can you afford to go on? What sort of repairs do you need to do to your home in order to be able to stay in the home? And also, if possible, if you've paid down your mortgage and you have a lot of equity in this home, can you afford to take out a reverse mortgage in order to tap the equity from the home and pull equity out in order to be able to pay for these improvements in the home? So these are difficult questions, and of course, also with an aging population, counselling is important because, in addition to living longer and having to really work at the budget so there's enough money left over, for a long life, it's also that people are often vulnerable at that age, and people have to understand the risks involved. That and be able to stay, keep their heads above water.
Good, and they need a place to live.
Yes, exactly.
Well, thank you very much, Eddie.
Thank you.